What's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn, and this is the C3 Podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Thanks for joining us every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. for the premier Carolina Panthers podcast, bringing you that Carolina Panthers talk from the fan perspective. And I'm here with my boys. Joe, that freaking Puerto Rican. What's up, my man?
Hey, Tony. It is a pure pleasure being with you Tuesday night, as usual. And Mel and Ken, it's great to see you guys.
Mel Mayock, Aaron Ford, how's it going?
Oh, doing great, Professor. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. You know, it's the road to Super Bowl 50 starts tonight.
And we've got super fan Ken Dye, the commish. How's it going?
Going great, Tony. Glad to be here. Glad to be with the whole crew, and let's have a great show.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at @cat_chronicles and like our Facebook page, Carolina Cat Chronicles. If you're watching on YouTube, just go ahead, hit the sub up button down low. And if you want to listen to this later, go to our website, click the podcast tab, and go to iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and be sure to give us an upvote and a comment while we're there. Guys, I'm glad everyone has joined the C3 Podcast, episode 15.1, the first one of the season, guys. The Butler did it. We'll talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, that wacky last-minute Super Bowl finale, how it ranks in comparison to the Carolina Panthers versus the Patriots Super Bowl. And we'll also dive into the DeAngelo Williams comments, the worst call ever, Patriots history of cheating. And we've got Thomas Davis, Man of the Year Award, and our favorite segments. Finish that thought, Ice Up Picks. So, guys, the Butler did it. What a Super Bowl. Just how good was it, and how bad of a finish was this for Seattle? Joe, I'll open it up to you.
I think it was a totally devastating loss for Seattle. They were at the precipice of winning this. They were right on the cusp of punching it in. All they had to do was hand the ball off to beast mode, and they would have won 2 in a row. And I don't know if they tried to get too cute, or if they outthought themselves, or they just made a boneheaded call. I tend to think the latter of all of those. But yes, they did some damage, I think, to their team, as you know, their reputation, as their potential legacy. You know, they probably, I thought, deserved to win the game.
Deserved to win the game. I don't know about that. I felt like they were lucky down the stretch in that last drive. But I'll tell you this: I turned to my wife. We had some friends over to watch the Super Bowl, and I said, "This game's over." Once Marshawn Lynch ran it to the 1, this game is over. There is no way that he's not getting in the end zone. I don't care what defensive front you put. You could have put the Carolina Panthers defensive front up there last season, and I would have still bet my money on Marshawn Lynch getting in the end zone. Ken, how good of a Super Bowl was this, and how bad of a finish was this for Seattle?
Well, I think it probably ranks in the top 10 all time. You know, the finish made it happen. But you know, there was a couple, you know, really good momentum shifts, and you know, I think it was probably a top 10 Super Bowl, which didn't really say a whole lot. It means in the top 20%. I differ a little bit in my outlook on the last bit. I don't think it was as bad as it looked. Just a lot of things had to come together for it to happen that way, and to listen to Pete Carroll at the end explain it, it made logical sense. He was saying, you know, we got 20 seconds, we got only one timeout. There's going to be a pass in there somewhere, and they're trying to get 3 plays out of it. The other thing is they look out there, and the Pats had their goal line defense out there, and so obviously they were looking for Marshawn Lynch to run the ball. Another thing is Marshawn Lynch. This is something I heard on the telecast. he only scored 1 touchdown out of 5 attempts from the 1-yard line in the regular season. So, there's a lot of things boiling in the background that go into the pot. And, unfortunately, it was for Seattle, it was the wrong choice. But it was more of a great defensive play, like you said, that Butler did it.
I gotta say, Mel, the one thing I differ with is that we can throw all these overcoaching statistics in, which I think, Ken is trying to find logic in this. But for me, what I see in this is that guy has brutalized people nonstop throughout his career. And then on top of this, why is it that Pete Carroll is so phenomenally concerned with Tom Brady moving the ball respectively like 50 yards to get in the field goal range when you have the Seattle defense? I know that they had moved the ball well on them, but I feel like this is like, let's go ahead and say, yeah, 30 seconds left, 20 seconds left. Richard Sherman and the guys, they can make this stop and put it on the defensive side of the ball to make the play. Mm-hmm. Do you think this was – I do understand the idea of trying to tick the clock down. Is this over-coaching, Mel? Was this too much coaching involved?
I think clearly it was. And I can't remember who it was, but either DeAngelo or Jonathan Stewart, one of the guys on Twitter said Pete Carroll was playing chess when he should have been playing checkers.
Checkers, yeah.
He was overthinking it. But honestly, strategically, it made more sense to me to even run it, because even if they stop him, you got the timeout, you can let it go down to one play and let one play decide it all. Because if you pass it, you score right there, hey, you still give Tom Brady a couple heaves at the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So run the ball. Don't outthink yourself. Just give it to beast mode. If you lose the Super Bowl, giving it to the best running back in the game, tip your hat to the other team and move on. But to get cute, try to throw it over the middle, too many things can go wrong in that scenario, and it did. And now they got to live with it. In a way, though, if it was any other team than New England, I would have liked to have seen it happen the way it happened, because Seattle's getting spoiled, man. I mean, it was a storybook finish to their season. They were out of it. Green Bay blows the onside kick, hits the guy in the face mask. They get the onside kick, go on and win. It was too easy. They get the miraculous catch down there at the end. Their Twitter page goes from nothing to exploding. They got a lot of bandwagon fans out there. So I kind of like to see it put in their place.
Yeah, I found myself cheering for the Patriots for that very reason. That the idea is, well, I'm kind of sick of the Seahawks too, man. They have, we've got a little kind of problems with them. So it's not like we were playing the Raiders or something that we don't got any problems with. The thing, though, for me, Russell Wilson, all of this comes down to a mistake that was made. If he wouldn't have had to take a timeout like on the 50, when they didn't know when the play clock ticked down, they wouldn't have had this problem in the first place. But, nobody's going to say that. I mean,
that was a Wisconsin quarterback mistake.
Is that right? I thought it was the Wisconsin Wonder. In fact, let's hear what DeAngelo Williams had to say on the matter, and then I want to talk about the divine and the miraculous and things like this. Here's DeAngelo Williams on the Pete Carroll decision to throw the ball.
I cannot believe they just made that call. And I think it's hilarious, too, because, you can kind of see the devaluation of a running back throughout the league. And, with the quarterback position being the highest paid position and this being a throwing league, in my mind, I'm thinking maybe he thought that would work. I know for a fact that if they would have handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch, they played chess when they should have played checkers.
I kind of jumped to the chess to play checkers. He said, I know for a fact they would have scored a touchdown. I wanted to get what you mentioned. Do you think, is that just kind of a running back taking up for his boys, guys?
I think so.
I think he truly believes it.
Yeah. And I think there's truth there, right? I mean,
can I say something here? Okay, if you're going to ridiculously throw the ball in that situation from the 1 yard line, think about how small that field is. You're on the 1 yard line, you're going to throw the ball. Okay, Why are you throwing it to the middle of the field where the most people are? Why aren't you throwing it to that big 6'5" guy that made 2 awesome catches
All night
that
long.
nobody has heard of all night? Why didn't you throw one-on-one with him, a jump ball, fade? Why didn't you do that to the corner of the end zone so if nobody catches it, it goes out of bounds? It's incomplete. Then you got some more. You got a timeout still, and you can still maybe run 2 plays.
Crazy.
Why throw it to the middle of the field where everybody is mashed in together? It's so stupid to me. I mean, it just makes no sense whatsoever. It's like, well, I can walk up to the dartboard and put the dart in the bullseye, or I can just start flinging darts wildly and hope that it lands in the bullseye. That's what they were just taking it.
But
just to let you know, Joey, that play is what Justin Hardy has scored like 8,500 touchdowns on that same exact slant run. That was an excellent defensive play. I heard the guy say that he just was he had a test and he studied and he paid. The study paid off. But you're right. I mean, and I hear some echoes somewhere. Does anybody got a window open? If not, it was a strange play call, don't you think? I mean, interception on the half-yard line.
Just doesn't make any sense. It's foolish. It's foolish. Why are you going to put the ball?
Out here in Las Vegas, I heard some conspiracy theorists on the radio talking today, and I thought it was pretty interesting. We've heard all year long about how Seattle upper management has really had it with Marshawn Lynch, right? And he may not even be back next year. He's a locker room cancer, et cetera, et cetera. The talk out here is maybe, just maybe, they didn't want him to be the Super Bowl MVP. They didn't want to give him that game-winning glory. So maybe their pride got in the way in the play calling.
Wow. Maybe they wanted Russell Wilson. Maybe it has less to do with Marshawn Lynch and more to do with them wanting Russell Wilson to be he's so perfect. Okay.
I think y'all are overthinking it, but I mean, like I said, if I can just for a minute, I don't think it has anything to do with the locker room or they don't want so and so to be the star. Last I heard that they offered Marshawn Lynch a huge contract. I mean, I don't know if he signed it yet or not, but the money's on the table for him. And again, I have to point out that the defense had the goal line set, and the NFL is a matchup league. So I think there's as much to point to the fact that maybe a pass might have been the better idea, but it took a great defensive play for this not to work out. And no, the middle was not jammed. If you look at the replay, it was a straight, wide open shot to the receiver. Except right when he was about to catch the ball, Butler came in and knocked on hit him in the shoulder or whatever. I mean, it wasn't interference because he's going for the ball, but it took that, and it took him getting beat in practice, like he said so many times, for him to be able to be in position to make that play. So I mean, there's both sides of it.
How is it a goal line set when there's 3 damn defenders off to the side? It felt like there was a ton of dudes over there, but all right, enough with the last call. I know, but I think he was defending them a little bit, making excuses. Yeah. Here, let me say this, did you guys realize that this was nearly the 3rd consecutive time that the Patriots were going to lose on miraculous catches?
Oh, yeah.
Had the Seahawks won this game, I would have certainly thought that God was not a Patriots fan by any means. In fact, disliked the Patriots. The Butler, by the way, made great plays, 3 great plays on that last drive. He made a great defensive play that landed in that cursed circus catch. How is this that the Patriots play so well and then it comes down to this craziness at the end? Like these crazy catches, all of this. What is that all about?
Well, I think you're correct in saying God is not a Patriot fan. But I think God is sitting around right now going, man, Free will. That sucks because if I wouldn't agreed to free will, then the Patriots wouldn't have won.
Oh, one thing I will say about the running, the possibility of a running play, I think if they were going to run the ball in that situation, they should have called a read option. Because we're all sitting here talking about shoulda Marshawn Lynch. And as smart as Russell Wilson is, they call a read option. Everybody thinks that Marshawn Lynch is going to get the ball and go crash down. He could have probably just gone around and walked in that end zone.
That's true.
I think, honestly, that Pete Carroll and them thought they were going to catch the Patriots off guard and just assumed that they thought that Marshawn Lynch was going to run the ball. And I thought they should have rolled Russell Wilson out. Here's the thing, though. Let me ask you this. I heard today the idea that if Tom Brady would have lost this, that his legacy would have been significantly diminished. And my question on that is, why? He played a great game, and the Patriots couldn't stop Russell Wilson.
Did he really play a great game?
I think so.
He had 2 interceptions.
He had a fourth quarter, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
That's true.
It's kind of like saying Don Shula's Super Bowl. Don Shula's reputation is not so great because he lost 4 Super Bowls. Well, he got to 6 and he won 2. He's 2-4. That's what. Tom Brady would have been 2-4, something like that.
3-3. He would have been 3-3.
His legacy tainted anyway, in my book.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of that, how does this game rank in comparison to the Panthers Patriots Super Bowl?
I think it's about the same. I mean, if you look at it from a dispassionate point of view, had one of those Alcoa type finishes, the fantastic finish. But the thing is, with the Panthers game, it was set up by a mistake. This game ended by a mistake. So
right. Joey, how do you feel that this game ranks in comparison? I certainly think it's the best Super Bowl since that Super Bowl.
I would agree with that. I think it is. It's the best.
Maybe the Giants Patriots.
Well, that Arizona Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
Yeah. That was a good one. Okay. Well,
that's what I was
you guys
thinking.
don't sound so keen on that discussion. So this is what D. Will had to say about this. He's got some sour grapes when it comes to the Patriots.
They go down as the best coach-player pair in all of NFL history, do you think?
They will, but out of the 4 Super Bowls they won, they'll have 2 asterisks beside 2 of them. That was
why?
Deflategate and Spygate.
Spygate. See, I hear I hear the Patriots Nation eye roll, DeAngelo, hearing you say that.
Hey, but you have to understand this too. I'm a Brandon LaFell fan. He played with us last year. I congratulate him and the Patriots together. But at the same time, you have to agree that it has been some serious things going on to where every year that they make it to the Super Bowl, some things are questioned. And the only reason why Deflategate is not an issue now is because they didn't give Marshawn the ball.
So DeAngelo Williams, who was not on the Panthers team when in the Super Bowl, he seemingly was rooting for the Seahawks.
Hey, he won me over there. Hey, bring him back now.
I hear you. All right, let's move on to some good news. Let's focus on the Panthers because this is a Panthers podcast, and that's enough talking about 2 teams that we absolutely loathe. And let's talk about finally some good news, and that is Thomas Davis wins the Walter Payton Man of the Year Awards for his work with the Thomas Davis Defending Dreams Foundation, and here is his acceptance of that award.
The winner of the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, Thomas Davis. Just want to start out by thanking God, for
for being who he is and how amazing he's been in my life. And I thank the Carolina Panthers and the entire organization for all that they've done to me. Coach Rivera, Sarah Zabo, they're a big part of why I'm still standing here today. Next, I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Miss Kelly Davis. There's a lot that I've had to deal with. And she's been there for me. Through everything that I've gone through, injuries, everything. So often in my career, I've been the guy that just came up just short. But receiving this award tonight signifies and capitalizes everything that I've been able to accomplish, all that I had to go through. I want to say to Aaron, to Anquan, and the 29 other guys, man, congratulations. You're all winners. You're all winners. To the guys in this league, man, I just want to say to you, let's take charge. That'll be different. We're a village. I talked about it in the video. Let's step up and be a village of guys that make a difference. Let's change this world. We're well compensated for what we do. Let's show these kids how much we care about them. Let's give the media something positive to talk about instead of always bashing our league. Thank you.
Very heartfelt acceptance speech from Thomas Davis. I thought it was short, concise. I didn't plan on playing the whole thing when I initially tuned into it and was, kind of setting up the audio. But he got straight to the point. Aaron, what do you think about Thomas Davis finally not falling short but getting the Walter Payton Man of the Year award for his work with the Defending Dreams Foundation?
Hey, man, hats off to Thomas Davis. I think it's about time. The guy always comes up short getting the Pro Bowl nod, doesn't get it. Anytime they talk about him doing good, it's the guy that had 3 ACL tears. It's not what he's actually doing on the field. And, I think we had the best linebacking crew in the league this year, and he should have been in Arizona, making the Pro Bowl. So he's such a good dude, man. He's just a good old, blue-collar, good guy that just has his heart in the right place. And when you see so many things about, stories about Greg Hardy and Ray Rice and all the bad things in the media, there's 2 Thomas Davises out there for every 1 Ray Rice. So hats off to Thomas Davis. I think he's awesome.
Joey, we gave Thomas Davis the C3 MVP award for the season, the most valuable player, because of he could have not played a single down, and it seemed like his leadership, his internal fortitude, his determination were so important to this team weathering the storm, and just, being somewhat decent this year towards the end. Do you get some satisfaction out of him getting this award? Are you happy to see this?
Oh yeah, I'm super excited for him. This solidifies Thomas Davis as a example of what the NFL should look to, players the NFL should look to promote. Mm-hmm. He does all the right things. He came up from a tough situation in childhood. I heard that they would wake up, him and his sister, because he had a little sister, they'd wake up Christmas Day expecting there to be Christmas presents, and there weren't. And they would wonder why, and they thought it was because they weren't good enough behavior-wise and didn't get any presents because they didn't behave well enough when they were well-behaved children. But it was more of a financial issue. In addition to the Dream Foundation that he has, they pay every year 2 high school seniors scholarships, full rides to college. They do that. They give out turkeys around Thanksgiving. And I think because of what happened in his childhood growing up during Christmas, every year they go out to underprivileged communities and hand out Christmas gifts. to make sure that those children don't have to experience the same sort of thing he did growing up.
So that's why he's so active with the Toys for Tots and all of that. That's I mean, and I think what I like what Aaron was saying too is that he just doesn't get enough credit for being a remarkably awesome player.
For
and he
sure.
seemingly is better now than he was before all the injuries. And I don't know if that's a mental thing as much as a physical. Ken, how do you see Thomas Davis's kind of leadership qualities translating onto the field?
Oh, I think he's been demonstrating it ever since he's come back from his third knee surgery, on the ACL. You two guys, Joey and Aaron, you pretty much took the words out of my mouth, and I don't really have a whole lot to add except say ditto to both of you. You both did a pretty good job of saying what was on my mind. And I just think that like Joey said, especially, that the NFL really needs to put these guys front and center because, let's face it, bad news, when somebody does something wrong, it's all over the news. But you don't hear enough about
it sells. It sells, though,
Yeah, it sells. But it's the job of the NFL to say, look, we're not all like that. It's more of a cross-section of America. And for like Aaron said, for every one guy, like Ray Rice, you've got 2 or 3, 4 guys that are more like TD there. So and that's really lost in all of that because all that noise that all the bad guys make.
Hey, Professor, breaking on Twitter, Charles Edwards, a follower, says, blasphemy! Exclamation! Never ever root for the Patriots.
I know. We've been taking a lot of flack, me and Abby, for this because, for me it comes down to Russell Wilson, man. Is that I can't even dislike the damn dude, but it was too damn perfect, man. The fact is that game was over when the Patriots came out and took the lead. It should have been over, and then Russell Wilson throwing these damn bombs that end in it's just too much for me. It's sickening. It's sickening. It's like when you get it. It's like the dude that gets all the chicks and doesn't try, and he's a nice dude. It's like you want to hate the.
Don't hate on me.
Oh,
he just got a divorce, so he can't be all.
He's jumping. He's jumping ahead into our next segment when he says, "Don't hate on me." And well, look, this is all I got to say about Thomas Davis and getting the Man of the Year award.
This is good news, people.
Good news. It's good news. All right.
That's funny. Okay.
Here we go, guys. It's time for what's fastly becoming my favorite new segment of the show, and that is. It's time for Finish That Thought.
Funny. Sometimes I just don't get people. Human beings are so weird. Who talks in front of a camera? By themselves. For fun. We thought that was a good idea. These ideas, some of these things that you use every day. Who's the guy or a girl that was like, this makes no sense. Good idea. That's a good
idea. That's right. It is Finish That Thought, and now this is where I pose a sentence, a phrase to you guys, and you finish that thought. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna let Aaron open it up because Joey's gonna give us the pause. So we're gonna put the play button on with Aaron. And I'm going to say the deep thought. That's what we should call it. Deep Thoughts with Joe Riollano. All right. The call to pass the ball on the 1-yard line was?
Proof that anytime you try to outthink yourself, you can screw up destiny.
Yeah. I mean, the chess and checkers. Ken. The call to pass the ball on the 1-yard line was?
Tom Brady's wet dream.
Dude, did you see him celebrating?
Yeah, he was jumping up and down and yelling.
Hey, now, there was a whole commercial about not putting down girls and saying like a girl, but I got to say Tom Brady was bouncing around like a girl.
Oh, man.
Crazy.
Although I'd love to win the Super Bowl and jump around like a girl, come on.
Yeah.
It was amazing. You know what is that I found that rejoicing so genuine. Yeah. All right, Joe. The call to pass the ball on the 1-yard line was.
It was moronic.
That was deep, man.
Deep Thoughts with Joe Riollano. That's the coming to you. A segment coming to you soon. The call to pass the ball on the 1-yard line. I just gotta say, dude. I mean, I don't even know. I think it just. This kid says it best.
It makes no sense. This makes no sense.
Just makes no sense. Okay. All right, Aaron. If the Panthers would have lost in that fashion on the 1-yard line in the same exact, if you would have put the Panthers, switch the teams, and that was us that lost, you would
not be on this show because I'd probably be in jail. I would have gone. I would have gone buck wild crazy, man. I would be so sick. I would have probably shot somebody. Yeah, that's all.
Yes.
I would have shot
somebody named Ron Rivera.
Okay. If the Panthers would have lost in that fashion, Ken. Oh, look, he pulled out the damn gun. Shit, he's going to shoot me. Go ahead, shoot me. Shoot me, Ken. Shoot me.
Got the light on it, too.
If the Panthers would have lost in that fashion, you would have.
I would have had to lock all my guns in the safe for a few days. That's for sure. For my safety as much as anybody else's. Probably all my prescription drugs too.
God.
But alcohol, anything like that. So
hey, Washington, marijuana's legal. I bet you the business was good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Nah, man, that mess ain't hard enough. That ain't hard enough. Joe, if the Panthers would have lost in that fashion, you would have.
I would have entered the same treatment facility as Johnny Manziel.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Nice.
I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I might not. I don't even know if I could. I wouldn't say I could be a fan anymore, dude. But I might. How about this? If the Panthers would have lost in that fashion on the 1-yard line, I may have stopped watching football.
I would have felt like it.
Just completely just decided to. You know what? Because this would be so fitting. Because I'm a damn Chicago Cubs fan. Because my grandfather, I just can't take any more of this. There is a reason I'm on prescription drugs, and it's because of the Chicago Cubs and the Carolina Panthers. And the Carolina Panthers would have made me turn to illegal drugs.
Well, the Carolina Panthers have only been around since '94. The Cubs haven't won a World Series since '94 either, but that's 1894.
I thought it was 1903.
We're close enough.
I think it was 03.
Okay, all right, finish this thought. The Super Bowl commercials were, Aaron?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Not epic, but pretty good. The open mic story today is about what was your favorite commercial. If you haven't done it yet, go out there and let us know what your favorite one is. Be a part of the voice of Panther Nation. How's that plug?
There you go. Joey. Actually, I'm going to skip over because by accident I didn't mean to do that. Joey, the Super Bowl commercials were.
The Super Bowl commercials were good for business for the manufacturers of Paxil because they were incredibly depressing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Ken, the Super Bowl commercials were?
Incredibly expensive for one thing. It seems like they. It doesn't seem like they go up every year for the spots, but they do. I mean, one thing I noticed about the commercials that bothered me, just because they spent so much money, they have a 30-second spot, and you wouldn't even have the first clue what they're talking about until after 28 seconds has passed.
Right.
And they just throw the thing up there. Oh, Budweiser.
So, did you like the C3 commercial?
Which one was that?
Oh, I didn't tell y'all I bought us a C3 commercial. Y'all didn't see it?
I missed that. It must have been subliminal messaging.
Yeah.
That's all we had.
1 second spot.
It was Aaron. It was Aaron in the background of one of the commercials holding up a sign.
That's right.
I thought, I'm with Joey. I was gonna say depressing. I'm just gonna say what I said on Twitter that night is they were awfully cryy. Like, I was like, why is this? I'm trying to have fun. We got friends over. We're having a good time. And y'all mugs are trying to bring down this party. They were trying to bring it down. And they did. The kid that died, I'm dead. The 6th Sense boy.
Now, see, that would have been a good answer to the question about what would you do if the Panthers lost that way.
I'm dead.
I'm dead.
I'm on the Nationwide commercial.
Yes.
The Nationwide. Those were depressing. I was like, because after one of them, the second one, I think it might have been that one. I turned to my stepdad and I said, "Are you effing kidding me?"
Oh, it was awful. All right, let's jump on before we get on to the Panthers because we got some Panthers football to talk about in the last 20 minutes of the show. If you need tickets to not to a Panthers game, to a Hornets game, a sporting event, a concert, anything, you need to go to our website and you can buy them through Ticketmonster. So you go to our website, you click the schedule button, you go to Ticketmonster, you get cheap tickets, no fees, all created by fans. Just go to Carolina Cat Chronicles, select the schedule tab, click the buy tickets. It'll take you to Ticketmonster, and you're going to go have a blast, and you're going to help this little company grow. Also, if you are an Amazon shopper, which everybody is, and everybody, if you ain't, you better get Amazon Prime because, it changes the world. Now you don't even have to go out of the house to even go Christmas shopping ever again. Go to our website and click the Shop Amazon tab. It takes you to Amazon. You buy your cool stuff, and they help us out. We need the help, folks. We need it. Look, Mel, what is that? It looks good.
That's a Carolina Panthers 2014 NFC South Champions hat that I just bought this past week directly off of CarolinaCatChronicles.com Amazon tab. Went there, clicked on it, bought this hat, got it this week. Pretty sweet, man.
Seattle Seahawk fans, buy your Paxil all through Amazon. Shop Amazon through the tab. All right.
I think we go to a Canadian pharmacy for that.
Let's talk about the Panthers, guys. Breaking news today. Joe Person reported Panthers coach has reassigned Richard Rodgers, his former teammate, after the Panthers special teams finished near the bottom in every statistical category. According to sources, he says Rivera will promote Rodgers' assistant, Bruce DeHaven, who came to Carolina in 2013 with 26 years of NFL coaching experience. Rodgers is expected to take a position on the defensive staff. Person goes on to say that DeHaven is the former Bills. He is the one that was fired by Wade Phillips after the playoff loss to Tennessee in the Music City Miracle game. Guys, is this enough? Joey, deep thoughts with Joe Riollano. Is this enough of a move? Is this just reshuffling? Is this a good look for Ron Rivera?
I think it is a better move because he has a lot of experience coaching special teams. He probably didn't deserve to get fired for the Music City Miracle because it was just that. It was a miracle. Sometimes those kind of plays are going to happen, and they needed a fall guy. They needed somebody to take the fall. So he was unfortunately the guy that got the blame. So I think it is a good enough move. We should see an improvement in our special teams. At the end of next year, we'll know if it was the right move or not. But
A
we
fall
should see.
guy, Joey. They sucked. They had fallen.
No, I'm talking about the Music City Miracle. And why he left Buffalo, why he was fired in Buffalo. Yeah.
Certainly. I thought you were talking about Rich
lateral,
Rodgers.
Rona.
Yeah. But yes, no, this Rodgers, he definitely needed to go. I mean, I think he's extremely fortunate that he was not terminated and released. And I guess it's only because he's a friend of Ron Rivera that he's still on the staff in some capacity.
Aaron, is this
good news, people?
Is this good news?
I love that clip, man. But, you know, I am a Riverboat Ron fan, and I thought all year that we should have kept him around. I wavered a little bit after that Minnesota game, but I got to say, the one weakness in Ron Rivera is the man is too loyal. In the NFL, you can't be that loyal. You can't be afraid. Now, Jimmy Johnson, you miss a field goal kick, you're cut, right?
What's your name's Leon Lett?
Yeah, right. Well, he was a freak of nature. But Ron Rivera should have gotten rid of Rodgers. After that Minnesota game, when the two punt blocks in the first half, he should have been gone then, man. You got to make a statement. So keeping your college buddy around on your staff and then putting somebody up in front of him, I don't think that's good enough. I think it's good news, people, but it ain't good enough.
Kim, were you excited to hear this?
Good news, people.
Good news, people. All right. Okay.
Well, we really do need an actual warm body back there that's not some Wofford College graduate.
There you go. Players make a difference. That's the difference between
he couldn't even catch the ball. You know, he would catch and he would double clutch it, and you know, you saw what he was doing. I mean, it's like you take a good, you know, an otherwise decent guy, you know, that's got sure hands or has got speed or something. You put him back there returning punts. Yeah, I don't know what happens. Philly Brown, he's shell-shocked.
Yeah, he's not good on special teams either. I've said this over and over, though, on this podcast, is that the Carolina Panthers team, special teams, have been a liability really throughout their entire organizational history. You've had two moments where I can remember where they weren't, and that is Steve Smith back there, and when He Hate Me was taking kickoff returns.
Well, now you can't forget Michael Bates now, the guy that made the
Right, Bates was good.
As a kickoff. But that was early on.
Yeah, I mean, I was like 4.
Yeah, sorry about
that. I wasn't that young. I wasn't that young, but I was also very young. But my idea is that it's never. And here's the other thing: is I think that we also put too much emphasis on just the inability to move the ball, which has been problematic for the Carolina Panthers. But where the special teams have really hurt under Rodgers, and this is why I haven't, I just don't think he's the answer as a coach, and I don't know how much a special teams coach actually coaches, but they seem like they have to know the roster in and out. They seem like they're more informed coaches on the team, but we're not stopping guys. We're giving up a lot of yards on our punts. So you get Nortman booted down there, and they're getting good average against us. So not only are we're not getting yards on when we get the ball, but we're giving up a ton.
And we're giving up block punts too. Our protection sucks.
Oh yeah, we had 2 punt blocks in a row or something, didn't we? Against
and then remember the Seattle game. Remember the Seattle game where Cam jumped over the line twice. Come on.
Was it twice or 3 times?
It might have been 3 times.
It was 3 times. And something happened to him in the game, and I said, or he got, maybe it was his injury before the game. He got something in practice or something like that.
Oh, yeah, his knee. Hurt his knee.
And I was like, well, thank God he can't, well, I was going to say thank God, but at least he's not going to jump over the damn offensive line. Crazy. All right. Next topic. Greg Hardy back in the news. we won't have to talk about him for much longer. His trial is pending this next week. It'll be coming up. And blackandbluereview.com, friend of the show, Bill Voth, put out a story today. I love all of these stories. The person did this, according to sources. I mean, you just wonder what that is. But he said this, is that if he basically said Greg Hardy's not going to be a Carolina Panther ever again, and he said if he was, he would need to do these 4 things. Number 1, he needs to be acquitted of all charges. Number 2, he needs to apologize to Jerry Richardson. You wouldn't think this is a big deal, but he goes on to say, quote, Hardy believes he did nothing wrong the night he was arrested last May, and a jury may agree with him, end quote. Number 3, he says he needs to give money back. Quote, if Hardy wants to return to Carolina, he needs to offer to return that money, referring to the $13 million.
That's the key word. I think offer. Okay.
And number 4, he needs to take a hometown discount and take and I think he said a minimum $780,000 salary for the for next year. I think, guys, that this just means there's no way Greg Hardy is a Carolina Panther again, because I wouldn't give $13 back to somebody, let alone $13 million.
You know, and people out there, I know that for a fact. I think the professor owes me $15, and he refuses to pay.
What's my name, son?
The Miser.
The Miser. Guys, which one of these is the most ludicrous of all the 4?
I think it's ludicrous to say he should give the money back. And I don't think the NFL union would let him, actually.
He's not saying that he has to give the money back. He's saying he needs to offer and say, hey, look, I know I took this money from you last year.
Well, the dude wrote on the whiteboard. Didn't he write on the team's whiteboard, I'll play for free?
I'll play for free. Yeah, I heard that.
All right, let me just say
like you meant it. No, I think the last one's the most ludicrous one.
The hometown discount?
No, those playing for the minimum, $780,000.
Okay, yeah.
That's not realistic.
Let me ask you this, Ken. Let's role play this scenario. You be Greg Hardy offering to give $13 million, and I'll be Jerry Richardson. Go.
I'll give you back $13 million.
Yeah. All right. I'll take it right now.
Okay.
So
well, let me get a bunch
it's not
of
It's not an offer, Joey. It's not an offer if the person takes you up on it. And then if I would say this, I would say, hey, okay, all right, write the check right now. And he'd be like, nah, I was just offering it to be nice. And I'd be like, well, F you. No, I'm serious. Give me that $13 million.
So you're disingenuous too, on top of all of this, right?
Richardson knows he won't get that money back. He knows that. Now, Hardy, the right thing to do would be for Hardy to say, look, I'll play this next season for the full, league minimum for a player between 4 and 6 years. I'll do that. That's the right thing to do, because he did do nothing to really earn that money last season. So this year he makes up for it by playing for the league minimum, which would be acceptable by all parties involved. For him to give that $13 million back to Richardson is not acceptable by the NFLPA, at the very least. So I think that's reasonable. I think the hardest thing is going to be the apology. That's what I think, because Hardy truly believes he didn't do anything wrong.
But I've also
There's a very good chance that they are going to acquit him of all the charges. So what's he going to have to go apologize for? He's going to have to go apologize for tarnishing the image of the Carolina Panthers, not for any of his actual actions. He'll have to go.
Well, associating with that type of person, that that doesn't lead anywhere good. He should have known that. He's a big boy. He should have known that. He's grown
He
up.
should apologize for being such a douchebag right now since all of this happened. That's what I would want more of an apology for, is the stupidness. He gave a pre-court giveaway on Twitter for like.
Hey, he's all about the fans. What can he say?
All right, the first tweet. He joins Twitter back as the Overlord or whatever, and his first tweet is talking about crossing swords and tag teaming a girl with a dude.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the first tweet.
Did he not learn anything? He had plenty of time to think.
Okay, Mel, you're a businessman. In what possible world does it make any sense, no matter how sad and sorry Greg Hardy is for tarnishing the Panther name, for him to play for a hometown discount?
I think he should, and I hope he does.
God, y'all are the worst businessmen ever.
It doesn't make any sense for him to, because he can go anywhere and make a ton of dough. The only reason he would even do it is because he does like living in Charlotte so much, and because he knows that he is appreciated by a lot of the fan base of the Panthers. They really do like him.
I wouldn't give any of this to nothing. Susan's been on me all day. She just said he got paid for nothing. He didn't earn the money. If he isn't giving it, what with what?
Susan being on you all day.
Oh, silly. He said. She said earlier. She said if he had any shred of moral decency, he'd give it back. And I said, well, damn, just hang me on the cross on that one, because I wouldn't give a damn dollar back. To me, this means Greg Hardy's not a Carolina Panther next year, and that's I just think that he should go and take as much money as he can.
What would you rather, Professor? Us stick to a higher standard and say you ain't playing for us because of whatever reason, or would you rather be facing him next year playing for the Atlanta Falcons?
I don't know, man. You know what is that I would just kind of bank on the bet that we could probably surround him with chicks and cocaine, that we might be able to get him off the field on our own.
Well, in reality, what would happen is you got Greg Hardy being blocked by Byron Bell.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is look at our tackles and then think about that question. Oh, my goodness.
Right. But now, Greg Hardy did come out and he has apologized. He said he's sorry that he was a distraction to the team. So I think Jared Richardson does need to sit him down, look him in the eye, and if he feels comfortable with the guy, give him a contract that says you do anything stupid, you give everything back.
I think that's okay. But this is what I'm with Greg Hardy, is that he's starting to get on my nerves about just how dumb he's acting. Like, it's okay to have the personality. To me, it's okay to party and to get into some of this every now and then, because, like, hey, we all tend to do things that suck at times. But, like, it's just like, gosh, I'm starting to just think he's a damn idiot.
Well, just make the contract idiot-proof.
There you go. The idiot clause.
That's it.
Well, they do have morals clauses in a lot of the contracts now.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah. So we'll see.
It's
going to be fun. That's going down next week, right?
Yeah. And I think, I got to show you guys something before we get to fact or fiction. My wife sent me this on Facebook today. Somebody read it. I can't see it.
It says, "Hey, I am Rob Lowe, and I have DirecTV."
And I'm incredibly stupid. I'm incredibly stupid, Rob Lowe. I have the best running back in the NFL, but I passed the ball. I can't see the rest.
From the 1-yard line, and I have cable.
Yeah. There you go.
I thought that was good.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, I ruined that. I thought we were going to do one then the other. But.
Oh, that was good. He was on the ball.
Yeah, that worked.
Okay, so here we go. It's time for Susan. Susan's holding what's his name, Greg Hardy to a higher standard, but she will not hold this show to a higher standard. Backdoor fiction. That's right.
That night hanging out in the freaking Puerto Rican's basement when you guys did that, it's awesome.
Hanging with the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Right? Sounds like you're saying backdoor friction.
Well, we're certainly not holding this crowd to a very high standard now, are we?
That's just what I'm saying. That's why I laugh every time. I just hear backdoor friction.
Okay, fact or fiction, Graham Gano is worth the money that he was signed for. Aaron, open it up.
You know, it's funny you bring that up. I was thinking about it today. We need to be looking at how many kicks he would have missed if the goalposts were brought in, because they're coming in next year. So
they're
think,
coming in? They're getting smaller?
Yeah.
I want to see him in the front.
Can we sign Odell Beckham Jr.?
No kidding. No kidding. You know, so I think it's fiction. He was good for a while. He backtracked last year, and that's some serious money. B. Jimmy Johnson, Riverboat, fire Gano.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you'd actually save maybe $1.5 million against the cap, which isn't a ton, but at this point, you know, he got released from the Washington Redskins. He had a good season in 2013. 2014 seemed to me a bust, so I'm going to go fiction that Graham Gano was worth the money. Joe Riollano, fact or fiction, Graham Gano was worth the money.
Big time fiction. Big time. I made a 3 down during the season where I brought up how poorly he has done this year. He's had several missed kicks. He's had a couple blocks, but he's had several missed kicks that really could have changed our season.
Yeah.
Really could have made a difference for us in our record. So, yeah, I think it's fiction.
In fact or fiction, Graham Gano was worth the contract.
Fiction. You don't pay a kicker that kind of money unless his name is Adam Vinatieri and he's kicked multiple Super Bowl winning kicks in consecutive years just prior. So, no. I don't see a kicker being worth more than 400, 500,000 tops anywhere. He's a kicker.
Well, I know, high pressure, high stakes. Aaron,
works 5 plays a game, you know.
Factor fishing. See the gin and tonics. The gin and tonics are kicking in. Charles Johnson is due to be paid $19 million. It looks like. This season, $20 million this season. He came on strong. If you cut him right now, you would save $10 million and spend $10 million. But that's not going to happen. If you're Charles Johnson, due $20 million, do you restructure your deal? Fact or fiction, Charles Johnson restructures his deal.
Oh, that's, as our friend T Money online says, that's a straight fact. You know, it's normally a good thing for a player to restructure too, because they get the money then, right? Mm-hmm. So he's going to get the money up front, take a lower base, but you know, take my money now. So that's a straight fact, and big money deserves it. That's a hard-working man right there. He wants to be the best. He wants to earn his money.
Ken Dye, fact or fiction? Charles Johnson restructures his contract to give the Carolina Panthers some breathing room.
I think Mel hit it on the head there. It's straight fact. Happens all the time. Multiple teams, you know, I think every team has multiple players that they restructure contracts. The Panthers have done it. I think Jordan Gross did it the year before he retired. So it's not uncommon. And I think Charles knows that with the deals coming up for Cam and Luke, and plus maybe, you know, if they can get a free agent or two, you know, to fill a couple of holes, then, you know, he knows that they could possibly be in the Super Bowl next year, and he wants that ring. So
let me ask you this about it though: is that if he restructures, does that add more years to his contract, or does that just extend his contract over more years?
I think it depends on the way they structure it. I don't think there's any set answer to it. Maybe one of the other guys knows more about it than I do, but just from what I've seen, it only affects that year.
It wouldn't mean an extension necessarily. It's just that we're going to pay you the same money over 4 years instead of 2. Is that right, Mel?
Well, that would be extending his contract by 2. Right?
No, if you just but then you could cut them after 2 and still just kind of accumulate the dead money in a different way.
Yeah, you would have ghost money. Yeah, they're extending it, but they might have voidable years at the end. Right, I think that's what they ended up doing with Jordan Gross. They extended him, but backloaded that money and said, we'll give you more of it at the end. And it was really more of a pay cut. So it just really, the devil's in the details. Depends on how they do it.
Yeah.
Joe, fact or fiction?
I think that's a fact-o-matic.
The one thing that worries me about this, and I'm just going to go ahead and caveat this, is that I will say fact if it means him not losing money. If fact means that he actually has to take a pay cut in salary and he accumulates less money in the same amount of time, I say fiction, man. And I say Charles Johnson, you stick it to him and you go and get another contract. You worry about extending 2 more years and being out of your golden zone. You know, I mean, like he might be able to sign another contract with another team. You put on 2 more years with the Carolina Panthers and he might be done. So, look, Dave Gettleman has strong-armed people in the negotiating room. I'm starting to wonder, you look at the guys and you see the Jordan Grosses, you see the DeAngelo Williams, you know, what makes you want to take a pay cut? So I will say fact if it just means spreading the money out. Pay cut, I'm going to say fiction. All right. That was my last fact or fiction for the night, guys. It's 11 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and jump on to the final segment of the show and just talk Ice Up Picks of the Week. Joe, did you bring one?
I did.
Go ahead and jump in. Actually, before you jump in there, let me go ahead and tell you that it's the Ice Up segment.
So was that
drink is empty?
I was gonna say, was that the sound effect, or was that your next gin and tonic?
Yes.
Yes.
Right on.
The echo is getting progressively worse. So, Joe, Ice Up, give it to me.
Ice Up goes to head coach, Seattle Seahawks, Mr. Pete Carroll. We've talked about it at the beginning of the show. Just boneheaded play calling. I know you tried to justify it today with your comments about passing and big linemen in and the situation, football. I don't buy it, man. The football is football. You line up your big guys against our big guys. It's a 1 yard. Let's see who the toughest big guys are. And that's how you decide a Super Bowl. That's how a championship is determined. So Pete Carroll, for trying to get too pretty and put the ball in the air, and I don't know if you were trying to make Russell Wilson the savior, the franchise face of the quarterback, and I don't know if there was a conspiracy against Marshawn Lynch. But to win a second championship in a row is a very special thing. It's something that doesn't happen very often, and you blew it. So Pete Carroll, I say to you, sir, Ice Up.
Nice.
Ice Up, son.
Well done.
Aaron, jump in there with your Ice Up pick of the week.
All right. Well, hey, somebody on Twitter, our follower Abby, actually had thrown it out there, but it's the same one that I have. I mean, there's certain organizations out there that I despise. New England Patriots are one of them. New Orleans Saints are one of them. But this Ice Up Sun goes out to a special franchise down I-85 that had a sorry past couple of years, and they've been caught this past week piping in noise, crowd noise, into their game. How pathetic is Atlanta is the most pathetic sports town in the country. Absolutely. Got a pipe-in noise to a dome. Really?
Oh, I thought we were in Atlanta.
So to the Atlanta Falcons and all Atlanta Falcon fans in the city of Atlanta, ice up, son. Bring your
Ice.
next year.
Ice up. That's easy, man. I could tell them to ice up in my sleep, but you were right. Gosh. I told our boy Scott Karasik maybe he should just reshuffle the order on his playlist. He's always reshuffling players. Yeah, it's just crazy. How are you going to pump it? It's just so lame, especially what is it? Who not who that rise up, Dirty Bird, all that. Gosh, terrible. You do suck. Ice up. Ken, you got an ice up pick this week?
It's pretty hard to sweep, but just looking at all of the things around the Super Bowl and that play call. It's one play. Yeah, it decided the game and the championship. But there's a lot more that goes into it than people realize, than I realize, than y'all realize. And everybody has a very strong opinion about it, it sounds like. But, it's all part of the game. It boils down to a guy on the defensive side made an outstanding play. It wasn't really necessarily any fault of the guys on the offense, any coaching decision. I just looked at the replay. The guy was 5 yards off from him, and they had another wide receiver blocking the other defensive back. Those were the two guys on the right. So it was a kind of a mini rub route. It's a well-designed play, just a better defensive play, and everybody all upset about conspiracy theories, and they didn't want Marshawn Lynch to, all those guys just ice up.
So another way of saying that, Ken, is Mel Mayock, ice up, son.
Everybody.
Nah, I think he just told Joe. He told that freaking Puerto Rican to ice up.
Like I said, it boils down to your best lineman against my best lineman. Let's see who can stop my running back. If you can stop my running back, why are you going to put the ball in the air? What if a defensive lineman sticks his hand up and deflects it? I mean, there's too many.
What if Marshawn fumbles?
No.
Yeah, he never fumbles. He never fumbles. He gets blasted all the time. He doesn't fumble. The other thing too is that Seattle is so known for doing that, like just lining up. Like the whole idea that the Patriots were going to trick them with all the formations and this and that, and it wasn't going to work against the Seahawks because they were just like, we just line up and play football. And the one time yeah. You mad, bro? Yeah. All right, here comes my ice up pick. It goes to somebody you guys don't know. Former defensive end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Stephen White, who is a writer for SB Nation, had some few things to say about the Josh Gordon letter this past week. And Josh Gordon, to me, I've always been a fan of the kid. I've always defended him. And I don't care if the letter was edited or written by someone else. I agree entirely with the premises behind it. And he was taking a thrashing on Twitter. And Stephen White said this. He said something like, I'm paraphrasing. He said, if Josh Gordon doesn't think that he has a problem, he's delusional and he's just an idiot. And I said to him on Twitter, I said, how is the air up there? Because you're high, very high on that horse. And this is where the ice up comes in, is the response from I guess a member of the journalist world's former football player said, F you effing jock sniffer. Some people care about this kid. Oh, you goddamn jock sniffer. That's what it was. So he told me, he said, F you, and he didn't say F you. He said, really. He said it.
He dropped
and I was like this, is that you care about this kid, supposedly. I'm the one that's got a problem. He's got a problem. He had some beers. You know what? Your ass needs to go to some anger management damn classes.
Yeah,
you got a damn problem. So, Stephen White, ice up, son.
There you go.
Good deal.
And, hey, he comes from the same organization of another Ice Up Son candidate, which is Warren Sapp. Mr. I'm going to the Super Bowl and soliciting prostitutes. Right?
Just pay them bitches.
Who do
Just
you
pay them. How you gonna? You know what? He pulled a professor. He pulled the miser and tried to cheap out on it. That's why he got in a fight with him. He got in a fist fight, but over some money. He should have just paid them because now he lost the damn job, dumbass.
Yeah.
All right. That is the C3 podcast. The Butler did it. Joe Riollano, I know that we can only reach you in limited time between, I think, 10 and 11. But if someone did want to get after you, how could they find you?
Find me on Twitter at Joe Riollano. And I am going to be expanding my hours. I'm going to be having some new summer hours that I'll be releasing next week. So you'll be able to catch me more frequently. Thanks for the show, guys. I think it was fun. It was a very fun show. I appreciate being on and look forward to next week.
Ken Dye, Editor-in-Chief, The Commish, how can people find where can they find your work and how can they get in touch with you?
At Twitter, on Twitter I'm at.
That's the best Twitter handle ever.
Yeah, can't miss it. On Twitter I'm at Ken_Dye, DYE. You can catch some of my writing on CarolinaCatChronicles.com when I have time to put something up there because of school, but that's life. Life goes on.
Life goes on. Life goes on. Mel May, I've been working hard. I've been following your offensive tackles, 10 offensive tackles, 21 days. Been a lot of impressive work with Mel's top 64. Yeah. Who's you got a teaser for us on who's next?
Yeah, man. Got number 5 coming out tomorrow morning. And I'll just say it's our follower, Clyde, who's a big fan of the show and somebody who was in the fantasy football leagues, got a lot of opinions about offensive tackles. His favorite guy is number 5 tomorrow. I'll just say this: he played in the Southeastern Conference.
Clyde don't have no opinions. Whatever. That guy's the least opinionated.
Well, if you played in the SEC, that narrows it down to like 50 tackles. So.
Okay.
Well, tomorrow then, buddy.
I forgot. I got to give a get well to Big Play J. Ray, who was supposed to come on the show tonight, not feeling well. Understandable. And I'm going to deliver. He didn't ask me to, but I'm going to deliver his Ice Up pick for him. And his Ice Up pick of the week goes to Papa John's, who declared the Seattle Seahawks winners before the game was over. Nice. In a commercial on TV, and then they lost. So this goes to you, Peyton Papa Manning. Ice Up, son.
Nice job, Ray. Get better, brother.
This is the C3 podcast. I am the professor, Tony Dunn. You can find my work on CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Check us out every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Come to the site. Best fan perspectives around. Check out the open mic, and you can check me out Fridays, every Friday 3 o'clock on Pirate Radio, bedpans included. All right, that's it, guys. Have a good night.
Right on. Take care, Nation.